My name is Rachel Summers, and this story still haunts me to this day. It happened back in 2018 at a place called Hollow Creek Manor, a villa that was supposed to be our peaceful escape, but ended up becoming the source of my nightmares. It all started when my four friends, Lindsay, Ben, Sarah, and Aaron, and I decided to take a weekend trip to the countryside of Vermont. We were all drained from college. Endless deadlines, late-night classes, and noise everywhere. We just wanted to breathe fresh air, somewhere quiet and far away. Lindsay, who's always on her laptop hunting for travel deals, found a villa online called Hollow Creek Manor. The pictures looked beautiful. An old colonial-style house surrounded by tea fields and mountains in the background. The place looked like something out of a postcard. And the price was surprisingly cheap. Almost too cheap. "This is perfect, Ratch. Private, quiet, and affordable," Lindsay said excitedly. But Sarah frowned. "It's kind of weird, though. There are no reviews about it anywhere." "That's what makes it good," Lindsay replied. "We'll have the whole place to ourselves." And that's how we decided to book it. We didn't care about the lack of reviews. We just wanted a break from reality. The drive from Boston took almost 4 hours. The road was winding and narrow, cutting through the forest. I started feeling dizzy halfway there, but the scenery helped. Tall pine trees, wide fields, and mountain mist hanging low over the valley. As we got closer, things started to feel quieter. No cars, no houses, no signs of life. "Almost there, guys. Time to relax," Aaron said from the driver's seat. Finally, we reached a rusty iron gate with a cracked wooden sign that read, Hollow Creek Manor. The paint had almost faded completely. "This place looks straight out of a horror movie," Ben joked. "Don't say that," Sarah replied sharply. "You're gonna jinx it." Lindsay pushed open the heavy gate, and we drove up the long gravel driveway. The house stood tall at the center of an overgrown garden, majestic, but somehow eerie. Its white walls were cracked and stained, the windows were shut tight behind dusty curtains, and the front yard was filled with tall, uncut grass, swaying in the cold wind. As we parked, an old man appeared from behind the porch. He introduced himself as Mr. Harris, the caretaker. "Welcome to Hollow Creek Manor," he said with a raspy voice. "I hope you'll find it comfortable." He gave us a quick tour. The inside was even older than we thought. Antique wooden furniture, old portraits staring from the walls. The air smelled like dust and something stale. Mr. Harris said, "The manor's been standing here for more than 100 years, but everything still works fine. 4 bedrooms upstairs, a living room, a kitchen. Oh, and a small library if you like reading." He paused before leaving. "One more thing," he said, lowering his voice. "I'd recommend not wandering outside the property after dark. We've had incidents around here." We didn't ask what kind of incidents. We just nodded. Once he left, we explored the house ourselves. There was indeed a small library full of old, dusty books, a music room with a piano that looked like it hadn't been touched in decades, and at the end of the hallway, a door leading to the basement. It was dark, cold, and damp down there. The smell of earth and mold filled the air. "You don't need to freak out, Rach," Ben laughed. "It's just a basement." "Yeah," Lindsay added. "Probably used for wine storage or something." I tried to laugh, but something about that place felt wrong, like the air itself didn't want us there. Later that evening, we went for a walk through the tea fields behind the house. The view was incredible.
layers of green hills and mist rolling down the valley. We felt calm again. But when we wandered a little too far, we found something hidden among the trees. A small grave covered in moss. The tombstone was cracked, but we could still read the name. Edmund Holloway, 1949. "Who's that?" Sarah asked. "Probably the original owner," Aaron guessed. None of us said anything else. The grave felt out of place, almost like it didn't want to be found. We decided to head back before dark. That night, we stayed in the living room playing cards and sharing stories. The air felt heavy, but we ignored it. Then, suddenly, the lights went out. "You've got to be kidding me," Sarah shouted. "Relax, I'll get a flashlight," Ben said, heading to the kitchen.
While he was gone, we heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from upstairs. "Did you hear that?" Lindsay whispered. "Maybe it's Mr. Harris," Aaron said, but he didn't sound convinced. The footsteps grew louder. Closer. Ben came back with the flashlight, and we all turned toward the staircase. "That's not Mr. Harris," Ben muttered. He shined the light up the stairs, but there was no one there. The house was dead silent. "Who was that?" Sarah asked, her voice shaking. "I don't know," I whispered, "but something's in this house." None of us slept that night. We stayed huddled together in the living room, listening. Every few minutes there were faint sounds, footsteps above us, creaking floors, soft knocks. And all night long I felt like someone was watching us from the dark. The next morning we found Mr. Harris and asked him about the manor. He was silent for a moment before speaking. "This house used to belong to a man named Edmund Holloway, a landowner, rich, powerful, but cruel. He was murdered here, right inside this house." He sighed. "After his death, no one wanted to live here. Everyone who tried left. They said he never truly left this place." We stared at each other in disbelief. "Then who was walking upstairs last night?" Lindsay asked. Mr. Harris didn't answer. He just said, "If I were you, I'd leave before sunset." That was all we needed to hear. We packed our things and decided to leave immediately. But before we did, I had this strange urge, like I needed to see the basement one last time. I grabbed the flashlight and went down the stairs. The air was colder than before. Dust floated in the beam of my light. Old furniture, boxes, and broken shelves surrounded me. Then, behind a pile of books, I saw something leaning against the wall. A painting. It was a portrait of a man. A pale face, sharp eyes, a cold stare that seemed to follow me. The name on the frame said Edmund Holloway. At that moment, I felt it. A presence behind me. The air grew still. When I turned around, there was a figure standing in the doorway. A tall man in a black coat. His face was blurred by darkness, but I could see his eyes, glowing faintly in the dust light. Every instinct in my body screamed to run. I dropped the flashlight and bolted upstairs. "Rachel, what happened?" Lindsay yelled. "It's him, the man from the painting. He's down there."
We didn't wait to find out. We jumped into the car and sped away from that place as fast as we could. We never went back to Hollow Creek Manor. Even now, years later, I still dream about that basement and that figure standing in the doorway, staring at me. I don't know what I saw that night, but I know one thing for sure. That house is haunted. A place that was supposed to bring peace became the place that still keeps me awake every single night.